This week on TGC News, California Defiance, new cans from SilencerCo, a badass rimfire replica, and Granny fights back. Kinetic Development Group doesn't just make parts for the tactical or military guy. They make parts for everyone, whether you're a hunter, a competition shooter, or a standard supporter of the second, they have something for you. Kinetic Development Group. When you get it, it clicks. To learn more, go to kineticdg.com. Welcome back to TGC News, the only gun news show that covers things you actually care about. My name is Jon Patton. Just a quick reminder, Adam and I will be at the Great American Outdoor Show this coming weekend, and we'll be at the Rockwell Tactical booth on Sunday, the 12th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. For a couple of hours there. I would love for you guys to come by and get a picture with me so I can get a picture with the greatest fans on earth. Now, jumping right into this week's show, California is a freaking mess. I talked about their newest gun law changes back in 2016, and many of which went into effect in early 2017, and right now the people in California are struggling to comply. The laws are confusing and increasingly complex. Not to mention the fact that the people making the laws have no idea what they actually mean. It's like they're putting a blindfold on and spinning a wheel of stupidity and throwing a dart and seeing what sticks. Now, what is interesting is the ingenuity and innovation that comes out of these types of laws. To help you understand, right now in California, if your AR-15 can drop the magazine with the receivers in their normal closed position, you are in violation of the law. There have been a few ideas regarding the magazine release button, and now we're seeing a neat idea on how to open the action and make the entire process less painful, I guess. It's going to suck no matter what. The Patriot pin is essentially a pivot that attaches to the receiver end plate, and when pushed, pulls the rear takedown pin out and allows the receiver to be opened, and therefore the magazine release can be activated and the low capacity magazines that you're allowed to have in California can be dropped. They recommend, along with the Patriot pin, using the AR mag lock to kind of make the entire system come together as one. The unfortunate thing is that the Patriot pin costs $90 and the AR mag lock is $55. So $145 just to be quick with magazine changes and still remain compliant. This cost can seriously add up for guys with a bunch of ARs, but I suppose it's nothing in comparison to the fines and nonsense one could incur if you're caught out of compliance. This is a real love-hate story for me. I hate Californian politicians and their ridiculous laws and regulations that don't make any sense. But I love the fact that Californians, the gun guys out there, refuse to go quietly. And on hashtag Not a Review, the segment where I take a product and give you guys a hands-on spotlight, we're taking a closer look at a few new suppressors from SilencerCo. Now, we looked at these at SHOT Show, but I think it's cool to get a closer look and actually shoot them and see what they have to offer. First up, we're taking a look at the Saker ASR series. Essentially, these are a blend of the Spec War and Saker series. They are full auto rated and built to take a beating, and they are bringing down costs now because they've moved away from the complex Med mount from the Saker line, and now they're using, obviously, the ASR mount. That brings the price point down under $1,000 for each one of these. There's a 7.62, a 5.56, and a 5.56K, the shorty. We tried them on a bunch of different guns to try and get a feel for the different sounds that you guys at home might run into. First was the 7.62 can, which in my opinion is one of those really solid all-around cans. I think 7.62 cans are a great choice if you're trying to do that one can to rule them all type thing. I believe it's rated up to 300 Ultra Mag, which no one ever shoots, but has somehow become the standard rating these days. And on things like a 5.56, it's great and just as good as any other 30 cal can. Beyond that, we have the standard 5.56 and 5.56K. Of course, we tried these on a couple different arrangements, including a Radian AR-15 and a Bren, and both cans have a similar tone, which says a lot about the K version. There's a difference in sound, but it's minimal, which makes me love the possibility possibility of having that K model on an SBR. Next up, we took a look at the Omega 45K, another new one from SilencerCo. Now, this is another attempt at kind of an all-around can. Although it is heavier than the Osprey 45, I think it actually does a bit better on sound and tone. The first round pop isn't as noticeable, and even on a variety of hosts, it's pretty solid all around. They're rated for standard pistol calibers like 9, 40, 45, and of course 10mm. And it's also rated to take 300 blackout subsonic and supersonic, although we were unable to test that the other day at the range. To me, the Omega 45K and the Saker ASR models fall into a really rapidly growing segment of the market. The durable, simplistic, yet solid performing, and in the case of the 7.62 and 45, multi-caliber can. If you want to learn more about these, hit that link down in the description to head over to SilencerCo.com. To see more product spotlights just like this one, check out the Not a Review playlist on YouTube. And in cheap fun news, a company called Kingston Armory out of Liberty, New York has introduced a new M14 replica that shoots .22 long rifle. Now, apparently they released an M1 Garand version back in 2015, and this is merely an expansion, but I wasn't aware of either one of them, so they're both new and cool to me. The basics you'll care about are that the rifles are based around a decades-proven 1022 action and are essentially made to look cool with things like oil rub stocks, and on the M14 model, a box mag attached to the bottom of a normal 1022 rotary mag to complete that kind of M14 aesthetic. Top to bottom, they've done everything they could to make the gun look and feel like the original. It's got wood stocks, metal sights front and rear, and I mean, guys, things like this are awesome. I mean, you could teach a young kid the ropes on how to shoot, or even a new shooter with a low recoil version of a classic. Or you could just enjoy the same thing yourself. Who doesn't love rimfire anyway? I feel like if you don't giggle when you shoot a .22, you're un-American. Both of these things go for $699 MSRP, so in theory you could see one from like $550 to $650 on dealer shelves. That's if you can find one. Not too bad considering the real deal usually costs a significant amount more and shoots way more expensive ammo. What do you guys think? Is that too much for a replica, or would you actually grab one of these? Let me know down in the comments. Now, be sure to stick around until after the break because there is no friendly fire, just another segment that you guys loved last week.
The Transformer rail from Manticore Arms offers unparalleled versatility for both the AR-15 and now AK platform rifles. This free-floating rail system allows you to attach both M-LOK and key mod segments, Picatinny rail segments, as well as a host of other options. You can bet that almost any attachment will work. Available in OD green, flat dark earth, and of course black, this lightweight setup might be just what you need. To get 10% off anything you buy, use the code TGC10 at manticorearms.com.
And since you guys loved last week's story about a good guy with a gun, I figured we'd do it again this week. This time we're transported to Bowie County, Texas, a county that borders Arkansas and is just north of the Louisiana border. On New Year's night, a 74-year-old grandmother was relaxing in her home, about to watch the news when an armed intruder burst in and pointed a gun at her. Pew pew with the handgun. Now, you and I both know that that is a terrifying thing and really quite jarring, especially when you don't move as fast as you used to. Now, somehow Reby Roberson was able to shuffle to a nearby table, grab her .38 Special Smith & Wesson revolver, and turn around and point it at the assailant. She was quoted by a local news station as saying, "Either he's gonna kill me or I'm gonna kill him." I couldn't have said it better myself, Reby. I can't say I'm surprised that a southern grandma didn't put up with any BS, but the point remains. Refuse to be a victim. Which brings me to a question. How many of you out there have older relatives or family members that you know are armed on a regular basis? And how many of you take them to the range on a regular basis? Firearms training is a perishable skill and we all need to practice. I want to see more grandmas and grandpas out there defending themselves. Hey, and if you are one of those, let me know down below. One last thing before we wrap up, guys. I get tons of questions about where I get my shirts, like this one on this show. They're from Patriot Patch Company. There's a mention of them at the end of every show, at the very end, but I still get asked a good amount. So guys, definitely hit the link down in the description and use the code TGC, which will get you a pretty healthy discount. I think it's like 10 or 15%. And that is it for this week's show. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you didn't enjoy it, let me know down in the comments below. If you haven't yet, please get subscribed. You won't want to miss a single week of the show. And as always, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon.
The shirts worn in today's episode of TGC News were provided by Patriot Patch Company. Click the link in the description to learn more.